One of the things that I've observed, Liisa, when people start to explore Tantra as a couple, is that they're very tempted to move into exploring an open relationship. I'd like to ask you a number of questions around that, which I feel are very important. The first question is, what is the purpose of being in an open relationship from a tantric perspective?
Well, firstly, we need to clarify that anybody going into Tantra and studying Tantra does not require to automatically also develop an open relationship. There is no requirement in Tantra whatsoever that you need to be having multiple partners. Deciding to be in a monogamous relationship or in an open relationship is strictly the choice of the couple and is not prescribed by any tantric doctrines. However, having said this, then indeed for many tantric couples, they have explored the open relationships maybe more often than a non-tantric couple. But then it needs to be done indeed for the right reasons. What can be observed is that the couple coming to Tantra, they are still very new to the teachings. They kind of pick up on maybe the sexual teachings of Tantra, and they become very fascinated about this. They quickly make the conclusion in their head that Tantra means that I can have a lot of partners and basically a lot of fun sexually, and you know, you, my wife or my husband, you should be okay with that, and if you feel jealous, it's your problem and not mine, and so on. And this is a very, very wrong approach to begin with. This will bring a lot of suffering. Being on the tantric path is not an excuse to have a lot of sexual partners, and it is not necessarily at all the harmonious way of exploring your own spiritual dimensions as well. In fact, I don't recommend for beginner couples to automatically go into open relationships at all, but rather to grow into this direction. If this is where they want to go, I would suggest them to consult with a knowledgeable teacher who can guide them on the path and tell them what they need to be doing in order to prepare themselves for potentially developing into an open relationship. The purpose of having an open relationship in Tantra is for accelerating your own spiritual evolution, or the spiritual evolution of both partners. And foremost, what this means, that everybody knows that when we begin a relationship with one person, a monogamous relationship, then as that relationship develops, various challenges are coming up. We are learning about each other. We have certain differences, emotional, mental differences, certain different understandings and backgrounds, and to really develop a relationship into a flourishing and a stable one, it often requires a lot of work and a lot of, filing of the rough edges, right? And through that, personal growth is achieved. You learn more about yourself, you learn to recognize your limitations and your advantages and that of another person as well. And through that you grow more together, you become more aware of your own nature. Now, when a person is introducing multiple relationships, then that means this growth and evolution is multiplied as well. All of a sudden it's not anymore with one person that these things can come up. It can come up on the level of each of the relationships you are developing, and it can add additional pressure on your existing relationship as well. And in order to navigate skillfully in these challenges, a person needs to have a certain level of spiritual maturity and an understanding of how these dynamics are actually working in the relationship level. One of the main challenges that can come up in open relationships, of course, is jealousy. And although it is often put down that it's, if you are feeling jealousy, it is your problem and it's not my problem, and go and resolve it and so on. We need to understand that jealousy is a very natural part of our psyche, of every human being. And in an open relationship, the couple is supporting each other through that experience, even if the experience at certain time is one-sided, that one of the partners is experiencing jealousy. It is not the job of the other one to be judgmental or to put anybody down or to be dismissive, but rather together help each other how to develop this open relationship with ethics and morals and love. And this is a whole different perspective. All of a sudden, the purpose of the open relationship is not anymore just to experience different sex with different people, but rather to actually test your own ability of surpassing your ego and reaching to the heart. And this is a very, very challenging thing to achieve. It takes effort, it takes practice, it takes understanding, and it's not recommended just to jump into it without even knowing what to expect.
Could you describe some of the common pitfalls that couples fall into when they do this too quickly and without the right guidance and training?
Well, one of the things that can come up relatively quickly is exactly these challenges regarding jealousy and then not being able to manage them in a harmonious way. In Tantra, we teach that any kind of emotion is also energy, and essentially you can control energy, you can guide it in the way you need, and jealousy is not different. It might be one of the most painful feelings to experience, definitely, but yet even that can be controlled and can be overcome. Number two, what can come up often is that the couple is not able to be honest with each other, because the second a person or a couple decides to go in the direction of open relationships, then inevitably we open each other up for falling in love with somebody else. And that can be very scary for both partners. Therefore, there are actually also ways how to harmoniously integrate such experiences into your existing partnership as well, but a lot of honesty and honest communication is required from both sides, and non-judgmental attitudes as well. This needs to be there. Additionally, to elaborate more on the honesty part, of course, there should be honesty regarding all of the people involved in the open relationship environment and having clarity what are the expectations, what are the extent of emotional commitment that each of the partners or persons is willing to offer, and making really knowledgeable and conscious decisions based on that.
So everyone basically has a right to make the choice because everyone understands what the true situation is.
Exactly. This needs to be, this platform needs to be there in order to avoid a lot of pain and confusion and disappointments in the long run.
And I guess there might be some quite practical things that people don't even think of, which could be sexual health, financial sharing, things like that. Could you expand a little bit more on that?
Absolutely, these topics would come up as well. The second we are engaging with multiple partners sexually, we need to take care of our health. We need to be aware what is happening. Not just our health, but also to know that my partner is engaging sexually with other people. I need to be aware, is my health taken care of, even if maybe at that moment of time I am not sexually active with other people, for example. So such considerations require very clear and open communication without any hidden agendas, without any shame as well. Regarding financial considerations, of course, this is already a very individual choice to make. There are open relationships out there where a couple is deciding that they are each other's life partner and this is the main relationship, and then each of them exploring other maybe side relationships next to it. However, there can be also situations where each of the partners is deciding to have equal level relationships, and develop each of them equally. So it's a lot of different combinations, but in order to be successful in whichever format, a lot of open communication is required, surpassing the ego is required, doing a regular yoga and tantric practice is required, and really reaching at the level of the heart.
So in summary, going into open relationships is not something that should be done lightly.
I do not recommend that. It should be done with awareness and really understanding what is involved and what can be the consequences and how to handle them harmoniously and with the heart.